So many entrepreneurs come to me of asking, okay, how do I build $1 million business? In this video, I'm going to show you how I've done it multiple times. For those that don't know me, I'm Chris Johnson. You may have first saw me on Shark Tank, and I have built over 15 businesses. Half of them I took over to multi-million dollars or more. And I'm going to be sharing you some of the traits and different mindsets and skill sets that you need to have to go ahead and make sure you're taking your business to the next level. So one of the first traits that I think is so important, and this is whether you decide if you want to go through this or not. Number one is you got to understand that being an entrepreneur, this is not for the faint of heart. Like, this is real deal. There is no just up and to the right. And so the first trait that is like super important to have is perseverance. You already got to know that there is going to be tough times. And so what I see so many people do, they love the excitement of what it means to be an entrepreneur, but they fall and they stop because soon as they hit adversity, they're done. And so, and then they retreat, and then they're back into their 9 to 5. And so I think the number one first thing is you need to have a tenacious perseverance and this determination that you never give up. You'll win if you don't quit. Like, understand that. Like, as you're going on this journey, no matter if you're just starting or you've been in 1 or 2 years, you will win if you don't quit. And so that is one of the main things that I would say is a huge trait as far as for you to be successful. So over my business career, quitting because of the adversity, I would say has happened thousands of times. And so one of the things that I've always realized is that if I'm going to go through it, I might as well go through faithfully because I'm not going to quit. Fortify your mindset to be able to keep going. I always said that, hey, if it's going to fail, if the business is going to fail, it's going to fail. And then I'll go to the next thing. But what happens is that the fear that you have of that failure never ever happens. Even when that time where you're like, oh, am I going to make payroll? And somehow way you make payroll, you're on it again. Sometimes you're going through the adversity of, I can't pay this vendor, or I have this constraint, and you go through it and then you make it to the other side. So here's one of the ways that I have really, I'm talking to the guys and the women that are in the adversity part of building the business. This is a trick for you. And God gave this to me and has been blessed me so much. Break up your entire day in sections. In the morning, focus on winning the morning and ask yourself, am I going out of business this morning? The chances are not that you're going out of business this morning. So focus on winning this morning. So many things where the anxiety, the worry, the pain that we have is that we are suffering from something that hasn't happened yet. You are not even promised the afternoon, but here you're worried about next month and 2 weeks away. This morning is a gift. There's so many people that are blessed with this morning that won't even see this afternoon. And so if you focus your time on this morning of what I have in the morning, I started with gratitude that I'm so thankful. I'm so blessed for the things that I do have in my life. And I'm about to build this business and I'm focused here on the morning. Then as you go into, you won that morning, then you go into the afternoon and ask you a question. Am I going to fail this afternoon? Absolutely not. Because you know what? Success takes time. And you know what else does? Failure takes time as well. So then you have the afternoon and you go win that afternoon. And after you win the afternoon, you're blessed with the gift of the evening, you go kill it in the evening. And then when you lay your head down at night, after you won that day, you be grateful for waking up in the morning because it's a gift. And you put yourself as you go to sleep. Am I going out of business in the morning? Absolutely not. You are not. So that is the focus, is that if you can break it up into in those time frames and win the present, That sets you on a whole nother level of how you're able to build your business. And that is one of the ways that I have been able to control the adversity of worry and anxiety, because they are going to hit you every single day. And so that's one of the ways to win it when you're in that adversity as far as building your business. So after you have those traits down, right? We talked about the mindset. We talked about the perseverance. The next thing, let's get into actually building the business. Sales cures all. You have to sell. One of the things that people don't focus on as entrepreneurs that I see is they got a great product or they got a great service, but they're not selling. Or if they sell a bit, then they stopped. You want to have this sales engine that continues to bring on new customers. I mean, it is as simple as that, is that you really want to drive that sales engine. So after you get your first customer, you want to double down on what just happened to be able to build more sales. So I'll use my recruiting company, for example. When I built the recruiting company, I understood that I needed to have the sales engine. And so I was doing the sales, and then I brought someone else on to bring on the sales. Notice, I didn't hire a person for service or product. I hired a person for sales. Sales cures all. So I built my sales engine. I hired my first sales guy. I taught him what I know, and he started closing deals for me. The key thing is after I did that, I doubled down on that. I hired another sales guy. I'm gonna tell you, there's two problems. There's a problem that I created was like, okay, now how do I service all these customers? That problem is better than the problem of like, where is the revenue? Where are the sales? The first thing I will say is get the sales engine. Double down on that sales engine and really build that to generate your sales. Now that you have the sales engine going, now it's super important to have the service delivery and the product delivery dialed. And I've learned this in a hard way. I mean, there was a time where we were getting so much sales that I would schedule the onboarding 3 weeks ahead. I had to push their onboarding date back because we didn't have enough service delivery to be able to satisfy those customers. So it was going so fast that I had to have that catch up. So that was a constraint that I had to fix. And so what I created this thing for the service team is called E4, and it's exhaust efforts, exceed expectations. You want to delight customers. Like you want to just bless their brains out of being a promise keeper. And sometimes it doesn't happen all the time. There's some people that are out of sight of your ICP where no matter what you do, you're not going to satisfy them. But for the vast majority, you want to delight them like crazy. You want them to feel like, man, not only did they keep their promise, they exceeded my expectations. Now, here's the game changer. You can drive revenue through your service delivery. You have a self-perpetuating business. Your service is so good, your product is so good that it's generating referrals, and your referrals are bringing more income than your revenue engine, than your sales engine. That's where the game is over. Now that you already got the sales engine going, really focus in on the time to get your service delivery engine top tier, where you are delighting customers, where you're exceeding their expectations. That goes to the next level. So there's some of you guys that have this going where you have maybe a $2 to $3 million business. You know, the way that I got it to 6, almost 7 million, is now that I got my sales engine and my service delivery engine, the really key thing is double down on what's working. I cannot emphasize that enough. So many entrepreneurs, including me, I am the worst out of it. So I learn from pain. Entrepreneurs, you can destroy your own business by having shiny object syndrome. And what happens is, because you're so creative, we get bored with this engine that's printing money and servicing customers, that we want to do something new. And so one of the things that I've realized is that you have to be disciplined in keeping a business that is already working and just double down on what's working. So if having this script is working, you double down on having more people say that script. If hiring another salesperson works, hire 2 more salespeople. Your creative outlet of what you want to do next, and you really want to get that out, do not practice on your own business, utilizing your creativity and innovation on your own company. What you want to do is start the new co to be able to do that. But first, you got to have that thing self-managing and self-multiplying. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But the caution for you of like, after you have that successful, double down on what's working. Now that you have doubled down on success, like this is taking you to 4 to 5 million. Now that you have doubled down on success, now the key thing is for you to make your company self-managing. This is something that I've got from my coach, Dan Sullivan. So many times as entrepreneurs, you have this successful business, but it's eating you alive. You don't have any time freedom. You're working in the weeds of the business, and the business owns you instead of you owning the business. So the next thing that you want to do now that you have this successful company, it's now time to start hiring more people to take you out of the weeds of the business, so you are working on top of the business. And so what you want to do is you want to take an activity inventory of all the things that you do on a daily basis, and you want to start providing those to people that have the same or a higher skill set. You don't want to delegate down, because if you delegate down, you got to manage down, and it's like you're doing it yourself. But if you delegate up, it's someone else's unique ability. They're not only taking that task, but they're doing that task at a whole nother level. Now what happens is that you are in your unique ability as a visionary, for those that you are that are visionaries, where that becomes your contribution. And now what you have is more freedom of time, more freedom of money, and you're free to be able to take the company to the next level and look strategically. Now you own the business instead of the business owning you. And so that next thing is to make it self-managing. The next level that I have, that I'm currently developing right now, is utilizing collaborations to scale the business to the next level. There's some people that you can add into your business, whether they're a collaborator or investor. They forgot more than you'll ever know. This is the situation I'm in right now. I'm building a tech company. In 7 months, time from me having the idea of building Passive Candidate Pro, an AI recruiting technology company, I took it from idea in 7 months at 1.3 million in ARR, utilizing what I'm showing you there. So for a tech company, the company's valued over $10 million in 7 months. We see that we can build this thing to a $100 million business. But I have the integrity of knowledge. I know recruiting like crazy, but I'm learning technology. So instead of me learning this all on my own, I have brought in the Avengers to help me take this to a whole nother level. One of my partners built and sold 10 technology companies. Another one of my partners graduated high school at 14, graduated college at 18, and built and sold 2 tech companies by the time he was 19 years old. You think they could teach me something? That's on who you surround yourself with. These are my advisors. These are my partners. Then collaborations. The customers that you're looking for, there's other companies that already have their credit cards on file. So instead of going one by one to get those customers, there's collaborations that want to combine your capabilities with their capabilities to share those to those customers. And now instead of just one customer, you get 1,000 overnight. So I got an advisor that did that. He worked with so many different payroll companies and built it and sold the company for over $100 million. He's one of my advisors. You think he can teach me something? So for me, as far as my growth of where I'm at right now, is leveraging collaborations and people that are way more talented than me, people that are smarter than me, putting an Avengers around them and having them be able to share in the success to be able to take my company to the whole next level. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it blessed you. Please comment and ask questions. I want to make sure that I'm adding value to you guys every single video. I came out of obscurity to be able to bless you guys. So I'm curious to hear from you. What are some other things that you want to know? What are the questions you have? And then also for some of you guys, tell me, what was your takeaway? What was your biggest takeaway? And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys start or grow your multi-million-dollar business. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one. You want to paint the picture of like the cool things that you do to be able to give them time freedom. I'll give you one of our playbook.